Hamida po, Hamida.
Hamida.
Double M Hamida.
Kita pala talaga ako.
Anyway.
Start tayo? Good morning, Miss Hamida. So, I am Bernadette Macarona, a student from BSN 3B. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to conduct this interview, and thank you for giving me your time and effort to be one of my respondents. So, your thoughts will be helpful for us in understanding what motivates people like you, especially first-year students, to pursue a teaching career. So, I encourage you to answer as openly and honestly as possible. So, your responses will remain private, and please be as detailed as you can in your answers, and feel free to share your examples from your own life. If any question is unclear, please ask questions for more explanation. And if you agree to consent this session to be recorded, please say an audible yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. So, ay hala. Nawala yung recording.
Hala.
Ulitin.
Ulitin lang.
Okay. Ulitin natin sila good. Good morning, Ms. Hamida. I am Bernadette Macarona, a student from PSN 3B. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to conduct this interview, and thank you for giving me your time and effort to be one of my respondents. Your thoughts will help us understand what motivates people like you to pursue a teaching career, and I encourage you to answer as openly and honestly as possible. Your responses will remain private, and please be as detailed as you can in your answers, and feel free to share examples from your own life. If you have any questions or any question isn't clear, please ask for more explanation. And if you agree to consent this session to be recorded, ba't nawawala yung recording ko? Hindi na talaga ako. Skip natin sa mga later ko na i-edit. So, can you tell me little about yourself? Like, what's your name, section,
I am Isnang Hamida. I am from BSN 1A, and I'm an 18 years old from San Roque, Zamboanga City. And the thing that I love is creating arts, and I also have a YouTube channel, if you don't know, so where I post my animations there, and those animations highlights the views, interesting stuff that I actually wanted to share with other people. And I came from the major science and Bachelor of Secondary Education.
Thank you. So, what was your first impression on teaching before enrolling in the College of Teacher Education?
I actually do not have any impression towards teaching courses, but in fact, I see my sister who is currently right now in fourth year in B.Ed Elementary Education, which is a graduating student. And my mother actually used to take a professional education course here in WIMSU back in 2005, so before I was born. So they themselves getting into these teaching courses inspired me to take this course too. I in fact didn't made teaching as my first priority. My first priority, or my first course, was to become an animator. I wanted to become an animator because I feel like that will last a lifetime, me loving the job that I wanted.
Okay, so you mentioned about first of all becoming an animator. So what are the factors that influences your decision in enrolling in the College of Teacher Education instead of pursuing something related to animation?
Well, back in how did my passion starts in animation. My passion starts in animation back in 2017 when I was in grade 6. I used to create simple, ugly animations in my phone, and I love seeing my drawing put into life. And I used to search for tutorials in YouTube how to create this type of movement or how to create that movement. I, in fact, see animation as a fun job. Whenever I see people becoming an animator, I feel inspired. I feel that their job that they take for life is amazing. But I don't really see the flexibility in being an animator. People doesn't sleep because of animating a certain seconds, and each frame you need to draw each frame just to create a single sentence. And I believe that teaching or being a teacher is more flexible in schedule. It's because the difference between them is time. So I need time. I need time for myself. I need time for my family. So I believe that being a teacher is more flexible than being an animator because time is important.
So you said that the teaching profession is flexible. So can you elaborate more why you perceive teaching as flexible profession?
There are some reels in Facebook that I see on how some teachers would mock other courses like nursing because nursing they don't nurses don't sleep. They have night shift and like teachers they only like go on 7 to 4 p.m. or 7 to 5 depending on the schedule that was assigned to them and they don't teach like in the middle of the night because I myself I never had a 2 hours sleep in my life. Most of my sleep goes on the range of 8 to 6 hours or 6 to 8 hours because that's how I wanted to keep my brain healthy or not be or against being deprived of sleep. That goes against my health.
So are there any personal experiences that led you to enroll in the College of Teacher Education aside from having your mother or your sister as an influence? Do you still have any other?
Personal experience.
Yes.
Well, back in my senior high school, I used to, in my reportings, I used to report, grades to an extent that my remarks are always perfect. Whenever I speak, whenever I teach with people, they understand how I convey those information that was being provided to them. And I believe that my skills, my oral communication skills would create an impact that if I could become a teacher, then perhaps the teaching job would be more preferable, would be more that aligns with my skills, that aligns with how good I am.
Okay, so you mentioned about the oral communication skills. So can you elaborate again, like how important is oral communication as part of being a teacher?
Oral communication should be the most fundamental skills of a teacher because a teacher provides information for the student and if the teacher may not or is not good in proclaiming or is not good in conveying that knowledge with the students, how can the teacher effectively motivate and engage the students in their teaching skills? Because a teacher should be more should facilitate students to not just understand the lessons there, to not just comprehend the information, but also the students will be able to recall the information that was given by the teacher. And I believe that the teaching methods or the practices that is done by the teacher should be effective. In case of oral communication skills, that is fundamental.
So, do you have any experiences with your teachers before? Like, siguro may teacher na mahina yung oral communication skills and may teachers na maganda yung communication skills. So, how did it affect you as a student?
Back in my senior high school years, I had this one teacher. I mean, hindi lang problema sa pagsasalita, kundi they don't even teach actually. They don't even meet with their students. So they just give the modules, the lectures, and they expect students to excel in their subjects. And I believe that kind of act is parang tanga or stubborn to do. That was ganyan. And then, but I also have teachers back. I was a UNSU alumni. So, senior high school years ko lang yung nasa labas. So here in my junior high, I have teacher like Sir Arnold Magidang Carolino and Mom J.D. Rosalejos. They were great teachers. In fact, that whenever they teach, I can always recall their lessons. And they have these strategies of after they discuss this. They were also students of Sir Anthony Oakville. So after their discussion, they would immediately have quiz. And back in my grade 8, I used to perfect quizzes because I can recall the scientific information which was conveyed by them. And I feel like their teaching methods and practices and how they convey the information is effective to the students.
So, given the strategies that your previous teachers done in your previous classes, how did it affect you ba as a student? Did you learn or any other influences?
I learned in a sense that I was able to excel in their subjects, and that was because by their actions. And their actions lead me to participating, engaging in their, which is fundamental for a student engaging with their teachers to create this connection, important connection.
So if you'll become a teacher in the future, will you follow the same strategy that your previous teacher done?
Ye- Yes, I would absolutely follow their teaching methods, but there are some problems. I believe that not all students may be able to recall information, even if how much of how good a teacher or a professor can be. Uh, a teacher may excel in her studies, but there are in his or her teachings, but there are students who are lacking in their parang lacking to comprehend the information, maybe because there are some psychological factors in their comprehension. So yun.
So, let's go back no sa sinabi mo po about having a mother who is also a teacher ba or like may history lang.
My history.
And you also have your sister who is also a graduating student. So, how did they influence you in taking this course?
They themselves would tell me and recommend me that teacher is a flexible course that gives you time in your family, because time is important and your health is important. So you don't work all day, work all night. I work all night, deprive you of sleep kasi sleep is important kasi. And yun. Although in third, 4 years, of course, may mga pagkakataon na hindi talaga tayo makakatulog. And that's just the temporary effort that you need to do while you're still taking a course in College of Teacher Education.
Do you have any other influences aside from your parents or aside from your teachers?
Well, aside from my teachers, my siblings, my sister, my mother, I no longer or wala na akong inspiration sa iba.
So, among those reasons or factors that influence you in taking this course, which is the most significant reason that made you to decide on choosing education?
Well, just as I've said, it's because I feel like because of my oral communication skills, I can excel or I can be a good teacher. And the second one is that being a teacher is a flexible course, or primarily it's a flexible course, than being an animator or nurse.
Now that you're already in your first year, how do you see the teaching career as a profession in the future?
Right now, I am currently just parang still passing requirements and also hoping for attaining, since this hindi naman masyado mataas, at least you have that goal to continue. And I never think of shifting in my course. I believe that BSN Science is perfect for me, something that would last me, something that I would enjoy in my lifetime.
So, your motivations before enrolling and your motivation right now as you're studying, still the same ba? Or do you have any changes as you
I believe it's still the same. Nothing changes.
So, if you were to go back in time, would you still choose this course?
Yes, I would still.
So, how do you see yourself as a teacher in the future?
I think I'd prefer being a teacher who is a good lecturer but also mataas din ng bibigay ng grado. Ayokong magbigay ng... Kasi I believe students have their dreams to pursue whatever they wanted. So I'm really compassionate with my students kahit wala pa akong estudyante ngayon. But I look back in my kasi sa DepEd man ako, so sa public ako, naawa ako sa mga sitwasyon ng mga estudyante that, they really make an effort even just for an attendance. So kung with an exception of attendance, kung wala man sila attendance, that's the time magda-drop ako sa inyo.
So, do you have any experience similar to Philippines?
Uh,
Or somehow you relate to them?
I relate to them. Na maawa ko nila. Kaya, basta at may attendance ang slam goods na yun. Pero as long as they can, of course, I'm a good lecturer. I have to parang evaluate whatever they have learned from me. Pero hindi to extent na magbibigay ako like 9 of 6 lahat. Which is, there is a story of a student who committed suicide kasi binigyan siya ng 9-6. No? Pero those situations are very rare, of course. Pero like, kung nangyari na, parang masakit siya. Grade what makes a learning painful experience.
Where do you see yourself in your teaching career in the next few years?
Next few years, manifesting na magdating ako ng board exam and just take one. And I know that our university is also expecting that from us.
So, will you, like, apply agad to be a teacher or do you
Well,
have any other plans?
If I may not be able to enter directly to the public, I will start at private schools na
Basically, teach agad.
teach agad.
So, is there anything else that you would like to share about being a student or about choosing education?
I feel like all that question I was already able to answer from the previous questions that was given. So I feel like that I no longer have any answers to provide.
Thank you so much. So that ends our session. So thank you again for giving me this opportunity to conduct this interview, and thank you for your time and effort for being here and giving me this opportunity again. So your insights, your experiences, all your responses will truly help us in understanding how to conduct an interview and how to use the interview and the responses in doing an inductive thematic analysis. So thank you so much for that. So, about po sa token, pagkawa ko na lang.
Okay, iwan to din wala kasi
Yes po, kasi ang hirap kayo, like busy kayo and then ora-ora na kami
sige.
sabay ka na lang kay MJ.
Opo. Thank you. 17